the basic substance of all dharmas. If it were not for true thusness, then dharmas would lack a basic substance. It is like the rope. The rope's basic substance is hemp. True thusness is not singular, and yet it is non-dual. It is identical and yet not different, not dharmas and yet not non-dharmas. That is genuine true thusness, the sixth unconditioned dharma. Shastra, what is meant by there being no self? There are, in general, two kinds of non-self, one, the non-self of Pudgala, and two, the non-self of Dharmas.
Commentary. What is meant by there being no self? Someone says, what do you mean, no self? I'm right here. I'm truly and actually here, so how can you say I don't exist? Aren't you just trying to cheat us? That way of thinking is just a case of misunderstanding dharmas. If you did understand the 100 dharmas, then you would know that it is impossible for there to be a self. There are, in general, two kinds of non-self, one, the non-self of Pudgala. The two kinds of non-self. 1. The non-self of Pudgala. No me or mine. 2. The non-self of dharmas. No svabhava inherent nature.
Pudgala is a Sanskrit word which translates as multiple grasping at destinies. This refers to numerous comings and goings, revolving in the Six Destinies. The Six Destinies: 3 good paths: 1. Gods. 2. Asuras. 3. People. 3 evil paths: 4. Animals. 5. Ghosts. 6. Hell beings.
All ordinary people and all creatures just keep turning around and around on the revolving wheel of the 6 paths, which are also known as the 6 ordinary Dharma realms. The 4 sagely paths: 1. Buddhas. 2. Bodhisattvas. 3. Those enlightened to conditions. 4. Sound hearers. Altogether those make the 10 Dharma realms. Where do these 10 come from? They are all just the manifestation of a single thought of yours or mine. If your mind thinks of cultivating and becoming a Buddha, then in the future you will be able to become a Buddha. Your thinking of doing that makes it happen. If you think about cultivation to become a bodhisattva, in the future you will to become a bodhisattva. If your mind thinks about becoming a person of the 2 vehicles, a sound hearer or one enlightened to conditions, then you will become one or the other.
If your mind thinks about ascending to the heavens, in the future you can be born in the heavens. All you need do is hold the 5 precepts and practice the 10 good acts and you will gain rebirth in the heavens. If you say, well, I want to be a person, then just offer up all good conduct and do not do any evil and you can be a person. If you are thinking of becoming an Asura, then get angry all the time and think about killing people. If you do that, then that in itself is the Dharma realm of the Asuras and in the future you will become an Asura. Those are the 3 good paths. Then there are the 3 evil paths. If you are constantly, tremendously greedy all the time, then you can fall into the hells. If your hatred is heavy, if you keep getting angry from morning to night, you can turn into a hungry ghost. If you are extremely stupid, then you will end up as an animal. So if you have greed, anger, and foolishness, you will fall into the evil paths. If you cultivate precepts, samadhi, and wisdom, then you will be born into the 3 good paths and will have the possibility of becoming a Buddha in the future. Turning in the 6 paths is dangerous business. There is an old saying about it.
Out of the horse's belly, into the womb of a cow. How many times have we gone in and out of Yama's halls? First one swings by Shakra's palace, then plunges down into Lord Yama's pot. One just finishes being a horse and ends up back in the womb of a cow. How many times have you done that? Too many. You are so familiar with that route by Yama's door that you could walk it with your eyes closed. You do not know how many times you have done it. You may make it up to the Jade Emperor's heavenly halls for a time, but once again you fall into the pot of boiling oil that King Yama always keeps hot. Becoming a person is made from the mind. Becoming an animal also comes about from the mind. If you act like an animal, in the future you will become an animal. If you act like a person, in the future you will be a person. If you act like a ghost, in the future you will be a ghost.
Some people say they do not believe in ghosts. Why do they say that? It is because they themselves are ghosts, and they are afraid others will recognize them as such. So they are always telling others not to believe there are such things as ghosts. I often say that basically there is no real difference between Buddhas and ghosts. If you are evil to the ultimate point, then you are a ghost. If you are good to the ultimate point, then you are a Buddha. If you cultivate to the point of becoming enlightened, then you are a Buddha. If you do not get enlightened and keep being stupid, then you are a ghost. Basically there is no difference. Some people believe in the Buddha and say, Buddhas exist, but they do not believe that there are ghosts. They say, there aren't any ghosts. Why do they say that? I haven't seen any ghosts, they argue, so I don't believe any such things exist. I ask them, well, have you seen Buddhas? I can safely ask them that, because if they have not seen ghosts, then they have not seen Buddhas. So I say to them, you have never seen Buddhas either, so why do you believe in them? If you haven't seen them, you shouldn't believe in them either, right?
They say, I have seen Buddha images. Well, there are pictures of ghosts around, too. If you see Buddha images and therefore believe in Buddhas, then when you see pictures of ghosts, shouldn't you believe in ghosts? I will tell you right now that those who do not believe in ghosts are this way because they do not have the wisdom to believe ghosts exist. They do not have the true and actual, perfectly interpenetrating and unobstructed wisdom to know this principle. If you do not believe in ghosts, you should not believe in the Buddhas either. There just would not be anything at all. How would that be? Of course, it is true that originally there is nothing at all. Basically there is no self, nor people, nor Buddhas, nor ghosts, nothing at all. But you have to reach that state. You must truly have achieved the level of no self. It cannot be that you say there is no self, but when time comes to eat you eat more than anyone else. There is a self in that.
Or when it comes time to work you say, I heard the Dharma master say to be without self, so I shouldn't do any work. But when the time comes to eat, your self is suddenly in existence again, because you definitely have to eat. You must genuinely without self. That means being without any attachments. If you are attached to the existence of a self, then you have an attachment to self, presenting causes and conditions that obstruct the way. Hence you should have no self. Even if you are without a self, you still need to be without dharmas. Dharmas must also